This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.
Live from the Raw Radio X studios in downtown Detroit, this is the IT in the D Show.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House? Sure. Come on in.
Just where do you guys think you are?
The Library of Congress?
Detroit?
Beyond the sun? Any of those, right?
Now we have to find ourselves a patsy, okay?
Now, what kind of patsy you talking about?
I don't know. Somebody who could be Dr. Detroit.
Hey guys, it's Ty Mogg, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT&D Show.
So you have no boots.
No.
You have no gloves.
No.
You have no hat.
No.
You have no scarf.
No.
You have no scraper.
No.
How long have you lived in Michigan?
All my life.
You, sir, are an idiot.
Shall we play a game?
This is the ladies' man.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
We just lost our clean tag on iTunes.
Hell yeah.
Make the run. The run.
Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
That analogy sucks because it's right.
How are we not sponsored by PBR and Slim Jim yet? Damn it.
Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
I used to hang out at the Magumbo Bar. It was a rough place, the seediest dive on the wharf, populated with every reject and cutthroat from Bombay to Calcutta. It's worse than Detroit.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come. Shut up.
How much scotch did you drink that night, by the way?
Half a bottle.
Okay, then shut the hell up.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat stick.
Turn your microphone off. Just get out.
You're in your underwear. I'm in my underwear. Here, let's hang out.
No, I'm sorry, honey. I have a headache. Bear me. I may have to wipe the geek off.
Why would, Buick put their cars next to, the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me.
Guess Captain Soundboard doesn't know how to run the soundboard.
I don't know who brought that bell in, but Bob's got a new toy.
Are we at a break yet?
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Go!
And welcome to a very special opening day edition of the IT and the D Show here in the Raw Radio X studios in the Russell Industrial Center.
Tonight,
beautiful.
On a very special blossom.
A very special.
The boys are back in town. Is that what it is?
A show about nothing, about everything. For those, if it's a first-time listener, this is what happens when three geeks get together and have a couple Pabst Blue Ribbons and talk shop. So, yeah, this is Bob, the sales guy, sitting here with Dave the Geek, Jeff the Voice of Reason. Got a couple great stars. We got the guys from Hell Yeah, Detroit in the house, Patrick Rusty and Jeremiah. What's going on, fellas?
Nothing. What's going on with y'all?
Just y'all? This
y'all?
is Detroit, man. No.
Yeah.
What? Just saying hi.
And we got long-standing networker with us. We got Mike Dennis going to talk about Bitcoin in one of the segments. How you doing, Mike?
Okay.
He found it. He found the place. We're happy.
That's right. Yeah.
We did not want to lose you.
Yeah, we didn't lose him. Yeah.
So, yeah, this is, episode 36 we made
36? 36.
How was, can I just jump right into it?
Just dive.
Go.
Yeah.
You've stored this up all weekend.
Oh, no, I'm stewing.
You're going to need all the time you need, so just go.
I'm stewing. No. So we've been putting events on since 01, right? I remember the first one the first legit, we would post Ferndale.
Right.
The second one we did at Lawrence Tech, and we had a panel. And, my take is if you come out, especially at an event, give me value. Give me something to take back. Make sure you didn't waste my time.
Set expectations.
Exactly. And if you don't spell out exactly what the event is,
right,
then you have nothing to hide because, hey, man, look, did you read it? This is what the thing says.
Right.
Thursday we went to an event. It was a kickoff launch party and something else I never heard of.
Oh, right.
And as soon as we walk, it's like a 6 o'clock to like whatever. As soon as we walk in the doors, we get shushed. I'm like, oh my God.
Which, ever. We actually wrote Baron von Shush.
Yeah.
Don't shush.
Talking like this.
Right.
You're not supposed to talk.
Oh, yeah, no. And that's, that's the old joke. If you ever want to make me mad, just shush me.
Yeah.
I don't get mad about anything else on this planet. I should have never told anybody. Now they're going to do it on purpose.
Exactly.
We walk into this thing, and it's two guys talking about how they started their business.
It's supposed to be inspirational.
Right. But, I said it a million times. If you're not inspired when you wake up in the morning, you're in the wrong line of work.
Right.
So what, and I think, Patrick, you were saying, too, like, how somebody started their company, it totally does not translate to anyone else. Everyone, it's like a unique little snowflake. Every company's different. Everyone had their startup story go differently.
Right. Everybody's, there's luck involved. You can't just skin graft somebody's story onto your own little operation. It's multifactorial.
Is that a word?
Multifactorial?
No, but going
I learned that in math class in intermediate algebra, sophomore year of high school.
And we're just going to run with that.
Right, hot dogs come in packs of 10, buns come in pack of 8, so 3X, 4Y, that's, yeah.
But I think
is there a schwa in there?
The one common element is, though, you'll never see an entrepreneur say,
"You just got to piss off our guest. He's not going to come back on the mic now." Yeah, he's kind of done now.
It is. That's the only practical application of algebra in real life. It truly is.
Schwa. No, but that's the practical. I think the common element in any entrepreneur is the story goes, he wasn't sitting in a room full of people and he listening to a speaker going, I'm going to start a company tomorrow.
And I'm going to be just like his company and have the same exact successes.
It doesn't work like that.
No, that's not reality.
But why? Here's the thing. In this day and age, why would you subject anyone to having to sit and listen to that?
Because there's free food and beer.
And more to the point, knowing us, why would you subject us to that?
Knowing who we are.
No, that was the one thing we went up to her afterwards and like, I thought we were always nice to you.
Are we not like? Are you mad at us? Have we done something wrong?
What did we do?
No, but that was the funny thing. We're like, remember the old BNI story that me and Dave went to, and while during introductions, we're like, let's just get the hell out of here. And we announced like, hey, we're leaving. We'll meet you at the brewery. So I look at him. I go, Chinese restaurant. He goes, dude, we still got 2 drink tickets left. I'm like, yeah.
And there's Ghetto Blaster. We're not leaving 2 Ghetto Blasters on the table each. It's just not going to happen.
So we walk in, they give us 2 drink tickets. I'm not going to walk out when I have a free Ghetto Blaster.
But here's the thing. Like, remember I said about the takeaway. I couldn't tell you those 2 guys' company's name if you paid me $1 million.
If you held a gun to my head.
Here's the funny thing. I don't think they ever said it.
Yeah. It was like 3 initials.
Oh, no, I'm sure they did 9 times. Because I do. I remember that, like, they did. I remember them talking about it.
It was like a collection of letters?
Yeah,
it was one of those.
But
it was like an acronym that nobody will ever remember.
Got nothing. Yeah.
Whatever.
Ever.
But shouldn't that be like you were talking about? I didn't even know what you were talking about. Like,
well, but how different is that from like how many times do we sit like at your house, sitting in the basement watching the Super Bowl, getting hammered, and oh, dude, that was the best ad ever. Who was it for?
Right.
No idea.
Was it Ford? Was it Cadillac?
It might have been the Gap. Not a clue.
And then the next day, dude, that's the thing. Those spending all that money, but yeah, and these guys were branders. You think,
yeah.
Not saying that you were gonna say your name all like. John Stout Systems. But, sorry, inside joke.
And welcome to the intro.
Right. So the story is this company name, it's after the guy's name. His name's John Stout. His company's Stout Systems, right? So every time he would speak at this thing we were at, he would announce, yeah, everybody, John Stout Systems. So I got a question. But he said it like 6
not once,
times.
not twice.
Oh, it was at least 5 times. Yeah.
So then after a while, we started being cynical asses and like, who? What company again?
Because that's completely unlike us.
Oh, right, exactly.
Right.
So that's the problem. I can't do that with my name. Is like
Walton Spiel of Walton Spiel Systems. Exactly. But yeah, no.
It just doesn't roll off the tongue. Sorry about it.
Right. So yeah, I mean, so there was the Lyft event, which is what it is, and then there was the other debacle from the weekend.
So again, event 101 planning. So you're trying to be Comic-Con, right?
Well, and we've had he was on the show twice. We had Adam.
I like the kid. I really want him to do well.
Adam's a good kid that ran the Deluxe Expo.
I really wanted him to do well.
But wow,
I mean, talk about the definition of stretching yourself too thin.
But he spent a lot of money getting Bill Goldberg there, who's an old wrestler if you don't know him, and he spent a lot of money, and he basically had like a 2-hour window. and you had to like prepay to get a ticket to get him to sign
on top of admission.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and we actually did. Well, God, he told us the math. It was like he needed something like 347 people to buy and get Goldberg's autograph just to break even on Goldberg being there.
So he's late.
So literally 2.5 hours. 347 people. You need him whipping through people every 30 seconds.
Right.
So here's where it gets good. This guy's a total dickbag.
Goldberg.
He's
not
right. No.
Not our former guest. You're talking about the actual guest that he had.
So Mark's first in line,
right?
Of course, because he thought it would be like a zoo, like at the Autorama, right?
Right.
So I get in there like right before, and the guys let me cut. I asked, you know what I mean? Like, hey, do you mind if I stand? No, go ahead.
Oh, I know, Adam. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. No, not because of that. No, because Mark was lying. But the guy's signing Mark's stuff,
right?
And he's dropping F-bombs and spit and dip, talking about I ain't taking pictures of these people.
Just
and
total cop and an attitude.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, you got paid a lot of money and you're here for 2 hours. And then he signs my...
Were there kids there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Dropping F-bomb.
Let's put it this way.
We're talking about the professional wrestler Goldberg.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who got paid 5 figures to be there.
To sign for 2 hours. And he hasn't been relevant in 12 years.
Yikes.
So my buddy had the WCW championship belt, so he signed that, right? I didn't bring anything for him to sign. And then he doesn't have 8x10s. And he's like, and as he's signing my thing, he's dropping F-bomb. I ain't taking no more pictures. You know, and I'm looking at him, and he doesn't even have 8x10. So some guy...
Well, it's gets back to, Comic-Con back in the day when good old Lando Calrissian and Billy D. Williams all tried to have a buddy and I thrown out because, we wait in line, and we hang out, we get up to the front of the line, and he pulls a Colt 45 bottle out of his backpack and asks him to, and gets him to and tries to get him to sign it. And, like, Billy D. Williams lost his mind, and tried to get him thrown out of the con for having brought a Colt 45 bottle. Here's the funny part. So we're like, number one, we're like, dude, be thankful anybody wants to pay for your autograph at all, ever, under any circumstances. Flash forward 2 years, he's back at the con with his Colt 45 promo pictures.
Shocker. Right.
So last Goldberg story, the guy behind me has 2 things. He goes, want one to sign to John, to me. Leave the other one blank, if you don't mind. Right? He had,
Right.
And he goes, no, I'm putting a name on it.
Just make it out to eBay.
Because I'm making it, yeah.
Make it out to eBay.
Basically, he goes,
Where's that bell?
He goes, you're going to put a name on it. And he looks him straight in the face. He goes, if you don't put a name on it, I'm going to make one up. So the guy's like, don't even sign it. So he went and tried to get his money back. But the whole thing was a big cluster bleep. I mean, meeting Timok, that's where the drop came from.
Right.
Dude, the nicest guy in the world. One of the nicest people I ever met. Was happy to be there. And there's other guys that just, why would you take the signing? Like, all you're doing is signing your name,
and you're getting
and what
paid
else?
A lot of money.
He hasn't been relative
to be there.
And how long?
Relevant
12 years?
At least 12 years.
And what else is he doing with
he
his
had a
time?
muscle car
Nothing,
show,
right?
No, he had a muscle car show on I forget, History Channel or something.
Yeah, True TV or something.
No, I honestly think the last time I saw Goldberg in the public eye was when I got arrested at a college Walmart for stealing a Goldberg T-shirt. I'm not joking at all.
Do they still have those?
I mean, in 1999 they did.
Right.
And
which brings us back to 15 years ago.
Yeah.
No, but this whole event, and I give him credit. Like, I walked in, there's a karate tournament going on. There's like a thing with the Ninja Turtles and
it tried to be too many
ring.
things at the same time, right?
It had an identity crisis.
It did,
absolutely
totally.
did.
Yeah. So did
and
the
we
website.
did. I mean, we tried so hard to help this guy out. I mean, we hooked him up with the guy that does all of the the barricades and pipe and drape and all that stuff with the wrestling stuff for us. I mean,
fell on deaf ears, did it not?
No, because he got that stuff. But
did he? Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's
here's the thing. And I was telling you this at the bar, Jeff. Like, if you come up to us at like our bigger events,
right?
We're flustered, right? We got our minds going a mile a minute. We're trying to talk to everybody, but what will we say to you? We're like, hey, great to see you. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Do you need anything? This is great, man.
Yeah, what direction can I punch in?
Right.
What do you do? What do you need? Yeah.
So like, I went up to him and went to shake his hand, figuring we got a little rapport.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Had him on the show a couple times.
Miserable, lousy, meh. Walks away. I'm like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, at least set the stage and fake
Just
it.
Shake your hand, right?
Like, do the Damone. Hey, isn't this great?
Right.
Like,
this is of all the places in the world, this is the place you want to be right now.
So then, what is state? I hear that the first thing out of his mouth, miserable. So,
Sorry.
I want to turn around and leave.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you think your event sucks.
Charging 20, at Gibraltar Trade Center.
Yeah.
So all you do is you see people at the window going, "How much to get in there?" Like $25. They're like, "No, you must have." Any casual person
Is there a gun show in here too?
Right.
Hacked there.
No, I know.
But it's $5 cover. So he dropped the ball.
Again, it's understand your demographic. That's
exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. So actually, getting back to the the Lyft launch party we were at. So the
do we have to?
Yeah. So the police chief of San Antonio came out and said that they will arrest Lyft and Uber X drivers if they find them.
Under what?
Because they're operating an unlicensed cab. The city of Los Angeles has
Seattle come out too?
The city of Los Angeles sent out cease and desist letters to Uber and Lyft. To Uber, and they're good with Uber, but they said you will C&D Uber X. And Lyft, you have nothing, because Lyft only is Uber X. Basically, that's that competitor,
right? Exactly.
And so you will stop all of it. And then Seattle came down and said, "Well, we're not really going to ban you, but we are going to limit the number of drivers you can have on shift per hour to like 4."
So they're still fighting this battle city by city. This hasn't made it to any sort of national court system, because I know Chicago Uber fought in Chicago and won. Right, and I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're running strong in Chicago. So I don't know if it's like city by city. They're like
it is.
So Lyft is the donation though. So correct me if I'm wrong. What if I call you to pick me up? And I give you $20 bill for gas.
Yeah, hey dude, let's split the gas and go.
Bob,
over in California, they've actually started to make a framework of laws around these ride-sharing services, which is actually what they should do.
Right. Well, but that's the thing. So if you go even back to the early 1900s, and there was actually one of the stories about, I think one of our first episodes, we actually talked about this.
Does
the
the Wayback Machine go back that far?
It does.
Pre-car?
Yeah. The jitney.
The buggy sharing service.
That's exactly what it was.
Can I get a rickshaw Uber?
Right. I would like a Uber car. Uber X. But no, so there were jitneys all throughout the country when cars first came out. That people couldn't afford cars, but there were people with cars that would go ahead and rent them out, and we'll give you a ride for $1 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's called capitalism.
Well, yeah, but you're operating an unlicensed cab service, and so jitneys used to be huge in L.A., and that was actually one of the things.
This is before regulations, though, so they couldn't really say that they were.
No, it really wasn't, because even back in the early 20s, 30s, that's when jitneys were huge. And L.A. shut them down then. They went from there were 190,000 odd operating, and they shut them down within 2 years.
Interesting.
Right. So it's and they used to be very huge and prevalent out here in Detroit as well. Go Wikipedia Jitney, and it's JITNEY.
What'd you call me?
Yeah, exactly.
Aren't they trying to go under the pretense that they're a technology company and therefore they don't have to comply?
Well, but that's the point. They're not. So you
must comply.
So you look at the San Antonio police chief. He's not saying they're going after Uber. They're saying they're going to arrest the drivers.
They're going after the individual driver. So it's like a sting operation. So
right.
if you're an Uber driver and you pull up and I'm going to go pick you up.
And that's exactly what they said. They're going to have cops that, just prostitution stings and that kind of stuff. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and solicit an Uber X ride, and when you show up, I'm going to arrest you.
Why is it illegal to sell something that's perfectly legal to give away? Stupid.
Welcome to America upside down.
Exactly. Merca, not Merkin. Merca.
Y'all
crickets.
Yeah, just it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, because it is. It's
stupid. There's bigger fish to fry, for crying out loud.
It is, but if you look at it from the standpoint of like I said, they have no problem with Uber, because Uber farms their Uber service out to licensed companies.
It's just fun to say Uber.
Well,
Uber.
We're going to talk about what the situation's like in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different in Detroit, right?
Because there's no cabs.
Well, there's no cabs anywhere ever.
So you're saying they have no competition, so they're filling a vacuum.
Well, there's also zero public transportation.
Right.
There's no way out. There's one door in, there's no way out.
Right.
Yeah.
Thunderdome.
It is. It's like welcome to the Thunderdome.
Right.
You're trying to convince people
embargo.
to participate and have fun in Detroit, but there's no way to get 15 miles from here to the city and back.
for as much crap as we're giving Lyft, I think it's great that they're opening up competition to Uber because I think that's fantastic, right?
Well, I've got beef. I've got beef with Uber. I'm gonna be open and honest.
Let's hear it
in public about it.
Go for it.
I just think Uber's surge pricing is just not good for the city. I mean, you've got
don't they go up to like 7x?
Kind of like the surge parking lots.
Goes up to 7 times. I got a ride back home on New Year's Eve. Granted, it's New Year's Eve, but I think I got a ride back to Ferndale, which not even Ferndale, right inside the border of Detroit where I live, near Ferndale. And it was about
Ferndale adjacent?
And it was about $125.
It wasn't.
Holy crap.
From where?
For the cab ride. From Park Bar.
Oh, my God.
Shut up.
No.
So I spent, when I was here for Dirty
Can't
Show.
you buy like a train ticket to go to Chicago for that much?
This is my thing about Uber.
You could buy a flight to Denver for that much.
Right, exactly.
But let's talk turkey here. If I can buy a hotel room where I'm already at and have more fun, why the hell would I take an Uber back to where I live?
Right.
And that's my problem.
So is that price dictated by the date or the driver or the company or a combination of that?
Volume.
Supposedly a message came up on my phone.
Okay.
Allegedly.
A split-second message that said you're going to experience surge pricing at whatever rate.
Like
I don't know if it said the rate.
So now that's a good part about Detroit taxis. You can just say, "Dude, I'm giving you $40. You want it? I'm walking right now."
Well, it's kind of like Lyft. I mean, everything that you give to Lyft is a donation.
It's a tip.
Yeah, you don't have to give anything if you don't want to.
Just a tip. Right. I guess that.
Well, there's a problem with Detroit taxis too. Actually, I think
Just one?
Yeah, because they make up pricing. They're garbage.
They make
Again, just like the parking lots.
They make up pricing. So when Uber got to town, I was elated because I said, "Hey, here's a answer to a problem. Every time I get into a Detroit cab's car, I have to hear a fictional story about what the price is going to be to where I'm going to go."
Right, exactly.
And Uber, you don't even have to talk about it. It comes up on your phone.
But let's keep this in mind. It's generally sans meter.
Yeah,
no one ever turns the meter on.
No one ever turns the meter on.
Well, so that's the funny part about the whole argument about, especially here in Detroit. It's they're not regulated. They're not adhering to the guidelines and standards. Well, neither are the cabs that you actually have.
No, I'll never forget
Cabs? What cabs?
we go to one Lions game a year, right? Me and David we're lazy asses, so we take a cab from tailgate to the Ford Field, right?
It's like what, half a mile?
Well, and we're drunk. Like really,
yeah, we don't feel like walking. But like going there was like $8, and I remember coming back, the guy wanted to charge us like $16. We're like, no, it was $8 coming here. I'm giving you $8, and the guy's screaming. I go, here's your $8, want or no want? And he's still screaming, so he slammed the door and walked out. We're like,
but are we not speaking to? We're talking about Uber and Lyft, and we're saying that it's unregulated and that they're going to charge you too much for surge prices. But meanwhile, the taxi services that we use are just as unregulated.
But it's not even so much about the charging and all that kind of stuff. Like, one of the points that people keep bringing up is that not only are they not regulated, so like if Jeff comes and picks you up in his car, there's nothing that says that there's any liability there whatsoever,
other than my personal insurance,
assuming you have it.
Right.
I mean, that's
Right.
the issue,
right?
And so if you hop in an Uber X car or a Lyft car, and you wind up in an accident that totals the car, and you wind up horribly maimed, then what?
Is there a standard on the Lyft thing in terms of cars? Like if you got a hoopty?
Yeah, there is.
Is there?
Yeah. You have to have a 4-door. The chick who was setting up Lyft was at the Bamboo Space, and she was trying to get me to be a driver one day when I was trying to do my day job, and she was like,
except you have a 2-door car.
Exactly. So, and
you got shunned,
and I was like, well,
is it a Fiero?
No, it's a Honda Accord.
It's a Fiero.
2003. My friends call it the spaceship.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
Litter box.
Right.
Yeah. My nickname's the Big Kitty, and we call it the litter box. That's
nice.
That's another story.
Moving right along.
Chickaboom, chickaboom.
Yeah.
I got one good little anecdote that I think can
bring it home.
Can bring home the cab driver and Uber thing. Just really quick.
Shoot.
So we're downtown for we're in Corktown on the Corktown Race Day, which is the real St. Patrick's Day in Detroit.
Right.
And we grab an Uber, and the Uber shows up, and it's like a Volkswagen Passat. We can only fit 3 people in it, and so we hail a cab behind us to get the other 3 or 4 people in our party. So all we had to do was get back to where our cars were parked, which was about a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile away. So the Uber pulls up. We told the cab to follow the Uber, and we get out of the car, and I look at the options and I say, well, look, we can take the Uber, but we run the risk of getting the surge pricing, or we can just go with the cab and we can get a regular price rate and go back home, which is still in Detroit, and we support the local economy and not this San Francisco tech-based thing. So I decided to side on Detroit. So I get everybody out of the Uber. Some people go back to their car and they drive home, and the rest of us who aren't able to drive get into the cab. And we get into the cab, and the cab driver doesn't turn on the meter. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, could you turn on the meter?" And he says, "Well, actually, no, we can't turn on the meter because that's not how we're doing things today." And I said, "Actually, I think you need to do things that way today." And I said, "I think actually it's illegal if you don't turn the meter on." And he said, "I don't think so. Would you like?" And it gets a little heated, and I had
while the car's not moving, you're still sitting on the side of the road.
We had moved maybe 20 yards in the car, and then we stopped again because there was a hissy fit to be thrown.
Well, I mean,
there were questions to be asked.
I was in the back seat.
I'm going to use the word cantankerous.
I was a little bit cantankerous. I had 1 or 2 shots of Jameson, and I'm in the back seat, and he's challenging me to get out of the car. And I said, "Look, I'm not going to get out of the car, but you need to turn on the meter." And he goes, "We're not going to turn on the meter." And I said, "Let's negotiate a price right now, so that when we show up at my place, there's no surprises on what the price is going to be." Because often what happens is they'll give you a median price, and then as soon as you show up, it's a higher price. It's a markup.
See, that's we don't deal with that. We go
here.
Done.
It's amazing how Jameson makes you more
shows
cogent.
on the sign is what I'm going to pay you.
Exactly. So we get in the He's like, well, look.
It's like Tom Sawyer over here, man.
He's like,
1,000-page novel.
He's like, let's do $30, and I'm like, $30 is a good deal, but I know it's not going to be that much, $25. And he says, no way. And then so eventually we turn on the meter, and we finally get to my house, and it was $25, and I gave him a tip, and I shook his hand, and I said, look, I'm not cheap. Don't try to screw me, and I'm going to take the Uber next time, or the Lyft. And that's why I think Lyft is a decent service, because it offers another option. They don't do surge pricing that's crazy like that, and you don't have to deal with these
the most
baloney.
Lyft only goes up to 2x, right?
Right. And it's called competition, right? And my question to you, though, is did the cab show up at the same time as the Uber? For like your party of however many guys you had?
Well, so the cab was following the Uber because we hailed him behind the Uber because the Uber showed up in a Volkswagen that couldn't hold.
See, just for experimentation purposes, I would have taken them both.
But see, that's what's interesting. Is like, Bob, you gave a good story when you were here for the show that the Uber showed up within, 10 minutes? 6 minutes.
Yeah.
You call a cab, you're going to wait like 2 hours.
The year before when we did it from Bert's, it was an hour and a half.
Right. I mean, that alone there is like there's no.
No, I think the conversation we're having that we're forgetting a point. I think Pat was making it is that surge pricing is absurd.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Is it
absolutely.
If you don't pay attention, unless you act like a 75-year-old man and you only go out between 3 and 6,
right? But let's be honest, when you need a cab that late at night, you shoot first. So I mean, you need a ride and you don't care.
Of course,
but
and everyone's willing to swipe their credit card and deal with the penalty.
Yeah.
But it's no different than your bar tab. You wake up the next morning, I paid what?
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, think about it when you're looking online. And you're like, oh my god, I just spent $176 to get 4 miles
on a car ride.
On a car ride.
And it's the same thing as all these parking lots that are charging surge prices. I mean, we argue about that all the time.
Oh god, if I
on the early side of the any event
same
that you're going
concept,
to, same concept. Right.
So we're coming up again on a break. We're going to come back segment 2 with Mike Dennis talking a little bit about Bitcoin, and segment 3 I think we might read Sal's The Art of War in a very slow
Sun
voice.
Tzu?
Yeah,
Sun
exactly.
Tzu.
So,
a man
this is the
and a
ITV
woman.
show.
We'll be right back.
One group rises within Metro Detroit and uses the power of the Matrix, networking, to light our darkest hour, and will continue hosting events until all are one. IT in the D. Read, meet, listen.
You got the touch. You got the power.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.
And welcome back. Segment 2 of episode 36 of the IT in the D Show.
And that was a fantastic song, by the way.
Here in the Raw Radio X studios. In the Russell Industrial Center in beautiful Midtown Detroit, Michigan.
It's Electric Dreams, man.
Electric Dreams.
You can't.
Was that 1984?
I couldn't even tell you when. I have the DVD.
Do you?
Oh, absolutely, I do.
Well, yeah.
You give me back. Pump up the volume. I'll give you Electric Dreams.
Is that how? So, are you Day Flicks? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you're allowed to have one per.
How do I not know what that is?
Subscription? Damn it!
Have you seriously never seen Electric Dreams?
You've never seen that?
No.
How are you a child of the '80s and not seen?
Can you guys please break this down for me? I don't know what Electric Dreams is.
Oh my God! So Electric Dreams was like probably one of the first uber geek movies, like even before Tron, that was about a computer that A, gains sentience, and 2, develops a crush on the girl downstairs, the hot girl downstairs.
It helps the geek guy that owns the computer get the girl.
Yes.
Bound chicka wow.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely.
It's so stupid. It's awesome.
Yeah. And there's
So this broke the ice for weird science.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. This is way before Weird Science.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, and it's
So like geeks like Dave looked at it and goes, "So you're saying I have
there's a chance?"
Exactly.
That's what I thought when I watched it.
Wait, we got to go back another. You were saying that was the voice of Optimus Prime that did a drop for us?
Absolutely is.
Like the
guy.
The guy.
What did you have to do for
nothing.
that?
So the backstory there is the guy that does the voice of Bender on Futurama follows me on Twitter.
Why?
Because I had started talking about Futurama one day, and he followed me, and kind of like the whole Kevin Mitnick thing, I had my whole little girl moment, and we got to yakking and chatting via DM, and so I shot him a note a couple weeks ago and said, "Hey, we're looking for voice drops and that kind of stuff for our show." So I have
That's
one.
right, yeah.
I have one as
on Twitter.
Right, I have one as Bender too. But he said, "Hey, would you be interested?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'd be interested in having Optimus Prime do the voice of our show."
And he didn't want anything.
Nope.
How is it? Like he's like the voice of major blockbuster movies and the original show.
He's the voice of the original show. He has not really been engaged very much by Michael Bay.
Yeah, but what is he doing now?
Oh, he hasn't.
Except for eating Cheetos and watching Dr. Phil, right? So like, while
they're kind of like your wrestling buddies.
Exactly. Exactly. So we got Mike Dennis here. He's been networking with us for a few years, and there's a few things we just don't comprehend on this show
at all.
One of them is flight. And
you don't understand flight.
Yeah, let's
the rest of us
that.
The rest of us are perfectly good with Bernoulli's principle.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with it.
The other one is mountain climbing.
Again, you don't get.
Yeah,
no,
just because it's there.
Right.
But anyways,
the third one I think is Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
And we hear stories about it all the time.
Well, and every time you turn around, there's another exchange that goes offline, goes bankrupt, is like embezzling money and all that kind of stuff. So kind of because Mike's always talking about Bitcoin. And so I reached out and I said, okay, look, we don't understand. Please, for the love of God, just come in and explain the basics to us. What in the hell is Bitcoin? Why do people put real money in a fake currency that keeps vanishing online?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of depends on who's actually spending the money in it. That's like up for speculation, I guess.
Well, it made me laugh. So
no one knows who some of the people are. Like no one even knows who created it. Still,
well, so the whole
they tried outing the guy, and he totally denies it.
Well,
did the CEO just kill her?
Well, the Mount Gox thing made me laugh because everybody was like, "Oh, we put our money the MTGOX." Everybody, we had our money in Mount Gox. That was actually originally. It was actually originally the Bitcoins. That's the latest big one that went down was MTGOX, Mount Gox. And it actually was originally Magic the Gathering online exchange. That was MT. So it was originally a website that was built for people to trade Magic the Gathering cards, and people were putting their money there.
Yeah,
All right.
What?
I heard that they actually had sold that sometime before it was the other one.
No, same guy.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah, no, same guy.
Okay.
Yeah, but who owned
the Bitcoin?
who owns who the hell
And
owns
I caught on Twitter. Don't think I didn't catch on
the
Twitter
thing
that
today?
you were
Oh, yeah.
that you were invoking our name, trying to get a problem resolved.
No, yeah.
I totally saw it. He was doing show prep.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
it
no,
was.
he's
He was
like,
trying to one up you.
I'm going on the IT and the D show. Don't make me talk shit
Yeah.
about you.
That's
Is what he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Great. So now we're gonna get a Bitcoin credit card charge.
Yeah, because I haven't actually had that many issues with it. Like I've basically just had it for fun. Just kind of most of my transactions were through Bitcoin codes for like games and VPN service and stuff like that. And recently, like I did, I haven't had a lot of luck in the dating scene in a while, and I was doing like the OkCupid, and they use Coinbase for their premium thing.
And so I bought a Ukrainian hooker.
No, I bought a month of their premium service, and just to try the thing out on there, because and actually, different companies do the transactions. They have like APIs and stuff that you can set up to like wire it into your website and stuff. And the one that I had an issue with is it was a mining site that you could do like in the cloud, and I had it through that.
Wait. Let's back up. So we were talking at the bar, and my effort to try to understand this, I was trying to equate it to like the old Microsoft Xbox credits, where I would give Microsoft $10, they would give me 10 or 15 credits to purchase games or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's how that's what I thought Bitcoin was. Like
David Buster's points.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I would get a ticket somehow, right? But that's not what this is, because there's no central authority saying, hey, you've got 10 credits. So what is a Bitcoin? You're talking about investing in it, or like you lost money in.
Well, it's a lot like SETI, though, from that standpoint, where you're running processes in the background that solve mathematical problems and computational issues. So you're using shared computing services, and you earn Bitcoins. Like I get that much. It's the what happens with them after that, because like from what I understand, like you only get coins if you're the first one that solves the problem.
Yeah. When it started, like it was to where you could just have a thing running on your computer, like
I'm
like
still kind of lost. Yeah, Rusty, I'm with you. I'm like, what the hell did Dave just say? I get SETI. I don't get what.
Well, so think about SETI.
To break
so
it all down, I mean, like from like a total layperson's standpoint, is it not something you can use for illicit transactions?
Oh yeah, you want to talk about Tor and the dark web and all that stuff.
Like,
absolutely.
Maybe that's my version of the world.
But again, how do you acquire a Bitcoin? If I wanted to get 10 Bitcoins right now on my iPhone, could I do that?
Right. Yes. One, you could go to an exchange and you could buy them.
Is that a website? What do you mean by exchange?
No different than
Mike. Yeah. What?
Well, like I was saying before, which none of the people listening would know that, but you basically get a wallet, and that wallet, when you set it up, it'll download the entire log of any transaction that's happened. And so every single person has a copy of all the transactions that have happened, and then your wallet is basically, you have a private key that signifies that you're you. So you could have that on a different computer, and that's kind of like showing that you're you, and then that person that has that key has a certain amount of Bitcoins. That's like basically the whole place agrees that everyone agrees that you have that much. And so part of the issue that they
sounds like the federal government debt system.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, Bob, I don't agree that you have as much money as you do.
Right, exactly.
So basically,
therefore,
like,
it's all invalid.
There's different confirmations. Like the network confirms that like you've sent someone else a certain amount of coins, and depending on the exchange that they use, they'll wait a certain amount. I think it's like 6 of quite a few of them do before they'll actually say, "Oh yeah, you actually sent the money."
Who sets the pricing?
Wait,
it's not like there's speculation.
But see now you're getting into exchanges and all that kind of stuff.
Just so if I got if I wanted 10 Bitcoins, all of you guys here in the room would have to agree. Yep, Jeff, you got 10 Bitcoins. You're good.
You purchase them, and then it's the whole authentication chain. So it's a distributed currency, if you want to look at it that way. So getting back to SETI. So you know how SETI would take advantage of the idle processing time on your computer by sending you packets of data, and then you would work on those and do your thing.
It was my cool screensaver,
right? Oh yeah, everybody had it back in like '98. Everybody did it. Yeah, I think we had every Great Lakes computer was running SETI, whether they knew it or not. So what it was. So these send you packets, but the way it works is that you're crunching mathematical computations and all that kind of stuff
to solve what?
It's like a hash.
Yeah,
and it's basically
it's almost
complexity
game-based.
changes every 2 weeks, and it's supposed to be about every 10 minutes someone gets a block. And the block, originally it started off as 50 bitcoins. Now it's down to 25. Every 4 years it gets cut in half. And so when you're the one that gets it,
you getting this, Bob?
Yeah, mashed potato machines running through my head.
But think about it as far, again, just go for an analogy. It's what's your hourly rate? I am getting X dollars per hour to perform a job. With Bitcoin, you are getting X blocks if you are the first one to solve. So it's almost like a competition, and it truly is, because it's you only get credit, i.e. blocks, if you are the one that solves it first and puts that solution out there.
Okay, so Mike, is that the attraction of, hey, I want to get X number of Bitcoins? Like you want to have your computers be available to solve whatever the hell it is that they're trying to solve? Well, like what's the attraction to do that?
I just had it just kind of messing around with it, because I actually had tried it when it was first doable on a desktop, and I ended up getting a block of 50 a while ago that's long been gone, so I didn't get the whole $1,500 Bitcoin price or anything
Ukrainian.
Like that. Yeah, right. No, I got like game codes like a long time ago, and then I actually did use Mt. Gox to cash out like 32, and they were about at $5 a while back, and then I had $50 lost in transfer fees to come from Taiwan to the U.S.
Who sets the pricing? Is it like a Ponzi scheme?
Well, in the case of Mt. Gox, the more that that whole story unravels, it kind of looks like it is.
Yeah, they kind of didn't pay people, and another issue that they had is with the confirmations that I had heard that kind of was part of their downfall was that I had heard that people DDoSed basically like a ton of transactions, and they wouldn't wait for confirmations to see if it was like different transactions. So they had deducted amounts of money multiple times when it was just really supposed to be one transaction.
So I'm going to ask the dumbest question in the room. I'm the dumbest guy in the room. When you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin right, on an exchange, where does that money sit?
In a wallet, virtual.
Yeah, it's on the exchange.
I gave you money.
No. That's the point. It's in a virtual wallet.
Yeah.
So
there's no certificate. There's nothing physical shows up at your house.
What does PayPal's API talk to?
Comerica. No, you take $100 out of my checking account in Comerica.
Who owns the Bitcoin API? That's what I'm talking about.
Nobody. It's distributed. That's the point.
Where does that money go that I get?
Is that like lighting a $10 bill on fire?
In many cases, it kind of seems that way. That's the issue.
Because that's what you're doing, really. It's all fiat money. It's like make-believe monopoly money.
Right.
Yeah, it ends up being a wallet on their network, which you really don't want to keep your money on their network.
They?
Whatever company.
Whatever that exchange is.
But then when I cash out, though, where does that money come from?
Well, and so... and so that's where the fun comes in. So Mt. Gox, that whole issue was...
What'd you call me?
That is you're a Mt. Gox. You've got video. It wound up the more they dig into their books, because they just declared bankruptcy and wiped out millions of dollars of people's money.
I read about this all the time on CNN Tech or CNET or whatever, and they're all like, another server farm
another exchange went down.
I got an idea.
It looks like they set one up,
and then oops, it crashed.
Well, and that's the more they dig into this whole...
live in the islands.
Yeah, the more they dig into this Mt. Gox thing.
Will this island have internet access?
They've just had the whole... Look, we found an old wallet that conveniently...
200,000 Bitcoins
that conveniently has twice as much money as the debts that we owe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shocker.
Yeah.
1 second, though. Isn't when we talk about an exchange and we talk about Mt. Gox and whatnot, are we talking? Is Mt. Gox just another one of these altcoins or Dogecoins?
Yes.
It's
Bitcoin.
Is he still talking
it's
English?
Just Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Dogecoin is
a different
they call
variety.
It like an altcoin. Those are
there's Litecoin. There's Buttcoin.
Yeah,
and
basically
whatever.
all of those are.
I want
they're
Wait, these are all variants of Bitcoin?
Well, Buttcoin is only used
yes
in
and
Ferndale.
no.
So it's like a nickel and a dime and a quarter type of thing? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I don't, this is what I don't understand. Is it so
Buttcoins?
So I have a little bit of experience with Bitcoin. I tried to read up on it, and I only took intermediate algebra, so
you can buy hot dogs.
So I know it's all based on math, and that some packs of hot dogs are 10 per pound, and other packs of hot dogs are 8 per pound. But let's back it up for a second. one of my buddies in California started a Bitcoin investor group, and he left me on the Facebook page, on their little like private Facebook group, so he could see what was going on. And they don't even mine Bitcoins; they mine Dogecoins and weird coins.
What's mining coins?
Well, but
what does that mean?
But what's the point of mining these other coins when I thought you wanted Bitcoin?
Well, but they're alternate currencies.
Yeah.
It's no different than going to a foreign currency exchange and saying, you know what?
But what's mining Bitcoin? I'm thinking Minecraft. My kid
think Swiss francs.
I'm thinking like mining for diamonds.
Let's mine a coin that looks like a Shiba Inu.
What?
That's what Dogecoin is.
Yeah.
It's a Shiba Inu.
Are we in America?
No. Mike's onto something here, and we're all making jokes. And he's
Mike desperately wants to jump in
He's
here.
got it on the tip of his beak, and we need to let him.
The issue
Mike,
is
for crying out loud, just talk.
Yeah, the issue is that like with Bitcoin, it went from CPU to like multiple CPUs and pools of multiple like tons of people together. To
and you can rent
GPUs.
farms.
Well, yeah, but then it went to GPUs. So there's there's areas, especially like in Canada, I heard of this a few times, where people got shut down because they thought that, or they got raided because they thought it was a growing operation because there's so much heat from all the GPUs and everything.
That's awesome.
And so like people have all this hardware.
That's what those 3 rooms were doing. It wasn't weed.
It wasn't weed. It was just computer servers.
Yeah, people have all these like this crazy architecture, and now it's to the point that like that stuff doesn't even matter for Bitcoin anymore because you have to have ASICs, or it went from the GPUs to FPGAs, which are like special like design chips basically, like in memory.
Is this QA?
I know.
And these are computers that crack the code of the Bitcoin hash.
Yeah.
Of the Bitcoin hash that exists.
So what does that get them?
Ephemerally. It gets them,
that's how you earn Bitcoins.
That's how you earn Bitcoin.
So somebody throws out a code
from
and says,
the Bitcoin collective that puts this stuff out.
Somebody throws out a code and says, "Here, break this. First one that can get it gets 50 Bitcoins."
Right.
Yeah. So now the Bitcoin algorithm is really CPU intensive. So now they have like these ASIC processors. Like I've got one that does, or I've got
Is
two
this like a whole Ponzi scheme for the NSA?
18 gig, or mine do like 15 gigahash per second.
Totally.
And actually the pool that I'm in, which is one of the, not even the big ones, it's like a petahash per second is the amount of CPU power they have on this thing, which is just like insane.
Wow.
So I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it's like if the Federal Reserve were to come out and say, look, we're going to basically, if the Federal Reserve were to act like SETI and say we're going to throw out blocks of data,
they should,
and whoever breaks this encryption and does this data will earn dollars.
Count it.
That is exactly the same as the central, or actually decentralized, Bitcoin authority that puts out these blocks of data and says whoever breaks this earns Bitcoins.
Yeah, and the other currencies are coming out because people have all that hardware from before, and so they have different variants of the of basically Litecoin that they've all kind of forked, and with all of those, they're more memory intensive. So it's better for GPUs, and like you can't really, it's more restrictive against the ASICs coming up, and then people being able to like.
All right, so all the tech aside, potentially stupid question: is this all legal?
Depends on the country, and I think the IRS just recently here had where they were going to call Bitcoins instead of a currency, calling it property.
Okay, so getting back to the tech side of things, so if we got all these different distributed servers and somebody has their personal computer or bank of servers somewhere sitting in a warehouse, we're talking bandwidth, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So are all the different ISPs getting all pissed off saying
no, because it's processing power.
Yeah.
It's not data, so it's a packet of data that comes down, but it's like SETI. You get the data and then you crunch the data.
So the ISPs don't care,
right?
I feel like Homer Simpson in the episode where he like, "Welcome to the internet, my friend," and he just sat there and I have some money now. I mean, like, that's all I feel like.
Don't put one second though, Bob. I think there's one little piece of this that's missing, and that is that the hash that's generated, and I think this is why it's different.
Corned beef hash.
This is why it's different from the Federal Reserve generating something. Is because you said it, is that it's decentralized, so that the hash that's generated doesn't it actually come from transactions that were made, transactions that are made on the Bitcoin network.
Yes.
Produce another unit which can be mined into
because you're validating
Bitcoins.
Right,
so
you're
it's
validating,
always changing.
Well, yeah, because what you're doing is it's that whole distributed
like the perfect encryption.
Well, it's that distributed transaction model. So what happens is so to Bob's point earlier, I make a purchase.
That was his contribution. He's out.
Yeah, no, and it was solid.
Yeah.
Because, I make a purchase, but so in order to avoid fraud, which is actually where Mount Gox went down.
We should sell this at Target.
No kidding. But in order to avoid fraud, it has to be valid. That purchase has to be validated but through other methods. And that validation is in the form of these hash blocks that are sent out and decrypted by other computers that says, you know what? Yes, Bob bought 10 Bitcoins from Jeff. Validated and authenticated. Move.
I got a headache.
All right, so Mike,
honestly, I love this stuff, but I'm freaking confused.
Well, but how many Bitcoins do you have?
Right now I'm at I haven't since I picked back up with the ASIC miners that I bought. I bought them a year ago. I actually got them in October because they have huge delays with that. But I've got maybe one that I've earned total. Right now I've got maybe $20 in Bitcoin, just because I've been using it for different things.
Wait, $20 in Bitcoin? What does that mean?
That's
how many?
the 0.02 Bitcoin, something like that.
So
a lot of the.
I guess just to get so simple about things.
Is there an exchange rate?
Yeah, what? Yeah, it's
40 something, 400 something right now.
Well, apparently Subway is accepting Bitcoin now, which is what made me
Tiger
laugh.
Direct is accepting Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean,
if it's not real money, where are they getting their money to?
So they take a picture of your eyeballs.
So they're depending on the fact that they can accept the Bitcoin from you. It gets validated. They can then go to one of these exchanges and turn it into dollars.
And a lot of them go right to cash. I think Overstock goes right to cash with their setup.
But what's the exchange rate? Like you just said that you have.
It varies. It had been
it depends on what exchange you're going through.
Yeah, it was a lot of them. Well,
changes every day.
Some of the big ones now are BitPay or Coinbase, and most of those are I think they were
where the real money is.
They were $620.
Well, yeah, because you're taking a percentage off every transaction.
I checked earlier today, and it was $440 per Bitcoin, something like that.
Yeesh.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good margin.
Yeah.
Looks like we're up on a break.
And I could talk about this for another hour. And I
couldn't.
I know your head would explode, but I don't.
I'm still no further along.
Well, and we're not done with this yet. But yes, we do have to take a break.
We're coming back with the more Bitcoin, more hell yeah, Detroit guys. This is the IT and the D show.
We'll be right back after Excedrin.
Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit, one beer at a time. This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.
And we are back. Welcome to segment 3, episode 36, the IT in the D show, here in the Raw Radio X studios.
Even more confused than we were before we left.
Where the hell's the Tylenol?
My head hurts like you would not believe.
Bob is over here frantically Googling Bitcoin and looking it up on Wikipedia. What the hell did we just talk about for 20 minutes?
Well, and so one of the things we were talking about in the hallway was there was a concern because there was one collective out there that hit
46, the Hive Collective,
right? That hit 46% of all the processing power that was out there. And in theory, if you hit 51%, you can override transactions.
Yeah, I think people aren't really completely sure what's going to happen if they get over that. I was actually in that one.
It's sort of what's going to happen if they fire up the super collider.
Yeah, I think it's a speculative thing.
They did.
I don't know. I've actually
and again.
Yeah, that's that one's it's just one of the pools. It's BTC Guild. It's the largest one. That's what I had been in that one for a little while, but the other one that I have is a little bit less regular on payout, but you can get more if you're lucky, kind of. Because there's a lot of different pay plans that they have depending on how you mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're getting paid, is what you're telling us right now.
Yeah, very little.
Yeah, apparently 0.02.
Yeah, it's like right now I think every block that we get, I basically get 0.0003 Bitcoin.
See, you know what makes sense to me? Like selling like swords and shields from World of Warcraft, like after you've gained,
virtual stuff.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense to me.
Valkyrie needs food.
Blue Warrior needs food.
I didn't know how much money was in. Like people were paying like $1,000 for like shields. No, for like virtual shields from World of Warcraft. Yeah. No, to me again that makes sense because it might take a year for you to.
It's like back to Mafia Wars. There were people that were buying accounts and all that kind of crap back
it's
then.
Farmville. It's all virtual. Whatever. Can we
just
grow?
The bottom line is people agree that it's just like the similar to regular money is people like it's an abstract high level ways. Hey, this is money, and
kind of like our own dollars.
Yeah. And so Bitcoin is also money.
Can I have some money now?
So could I use Bitcoins to buy PBR next week?
Probably.
That's why I'm launching.
Probably not there.
Haven't seen a convenience store that accepts
That's why I'm
Bitcoin
launching
yet.
Bitcoin in a couple weeks.
Right.
Get ready. It's going to
open up GoDaddy right now.
All right, so
where do we go from here?
Let's.
Your notepad got spilled with beer, so sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
But no, so let's dive a bit into Hell Yeah Detroit and what you guys have going on.
Hell yeah!
Because we apparently we volunteered you guys to go to wrestling school for a day, so that's going to be happening.
And who was it that volunteered to go for a whole 30 minutes? What was that?
No, I did say that I could make it 30 minutes. I mean, 30 minutes of what? I mean, you got to break this down for me.
Just training in general. That's you make it through the 30 opening minutes, and we're good.
So getting backflopped for 30 minutes.
Oh no, just the opening warm up is what usually takes people out.
Well, I mean, the proof will be in the pudding. We gotta do it.
So no, but from a Hell Yeah perspective, you guys have had some killer stories, having a lot of fun. And actually, you just reran one of ours, the 10 Commandments of Job Search. Saw that. Thank you.
Bada bang.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and I love how Dave wrote that whole thing. Like I had no input in that.
I'm sorry. There's no function in WordPress that says posted by Dave and Bob.
Actually, there needs to be.
Actually, there is. If you would have asked me.
You know what I was saying earlier today about that post? If you're listening, if you don't have a job, you're wrong. You do have a job. You got to get up in the morning and find a job.
Your job is finding a job.
Your objective is to find a job.
So get up in the morning, take a shower, put on your pants, get the out of the house.
Wow, that was the first time you actually censored yourself. Right. That's pretty good.
Go to a coffee shop, get what you need to get done, and go to work. It's not easy. It doesn't pay well, but hey, it's important. You need to do it.
You sure you have to put on pants though?
To go to a coffee shop, Bob, yes.
Yeah, they kind of frown upon that.
Damn it.
Hey, you can wear a grass skirt.
Hey, I've always believed home is where the pants aren't.
Right, well, which is why Bob works out of his home. That's, he has Risky Business Fridays.
I don't want to see Bob without pants. I just don't.
Nobody does. That's why it's only WebEx.
You see me in the lederhosen. It's no different.
Yeah.
I have.
We don't want to have that webcam pan down.
So
that was my dream Saturday night. Bob and lederhosen.
Oh, wow, that's not a dream. That's a nightmare.
No. And you just got sound drops. So
right. So, but no, one of the cool stories you guys threw out there was the whole bike tour across 8 Mile. Like why? Like why did that come into your head? How
this came up on your last show?
It did, and so we figured we actually were going to have you guys in.
I mean, it's simply out of the spirit of adventure. I mean, Detroit is a sea of unknown possibilities.
Treasure?
Is it not? Everybody has a concept of what Detroit means or what it is. 8 Mile is probably like a penultimate.
Right.
It is the DMZ.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's the DMZ. Nobody like you were told to not cross it, or you were told to cross it if you wanted to go to a strip club.
Right.
I mean, there's always like some sort of like
it's an imaginary line.
Stigma.
Like becoming an adult when you were 18 or 16.
I've arrived. I've gone down to 6 Mile.
Yeah, you went to silk stockings.
Right. Exactly.
Got to dance or whatever.
But 8 Mile.
I have no recollection of that, Senator.
It's legendary. So we were like, let's ride our bikes down. Let's do the whole thing. And
you didn't screw around doing it either. I mean, it was like 30 miles?
I think it's 20 something from Telegraph to Grosse Pointe.
And so so talk to me about highlights. Like what was the you guys did it over 2 days and you crashed in a seedy motel over the course of the night. Yeah. Like what was the best thing that happened to you? And obviously people should go read the entire story, but what was the best thing that happened? What was the worst thing that happened on that bike trip?
Well, I mean, I'll start with the worst thing. I mean, blowing out a couple of tires on 8 Mile is no joke. But I mean, you're dead in the water if you blow some tires out.
But that's an oversimplification. So we're riding our bikes down 8 Mile.
How many times did you hear "There goes the neighborhood"? There goes the neighborhood.
Right.
And we're early in the journey. I think we were actually...
Damn it. White guys on Schwinns on 8 Mile. We're all doing
Yeah, what kind of bikes were these?
By the way, we were the only guys on Schwinns on 8 Mile. Nobody else was doing this.
Was this like a 10-speed from like 1987, or were these like mountain bikes that were?
My bike is a World Tourist. I think it's from 1974.
Nice.
Baseball cards in the spokes.
So these are like
big orange flag.
Yeah.
Beep, beep.
I mean, I wish I would have had the wherewithal to go with an orange flag.
That would have been
pretty prescient.
Should have dressed up as chickens too. That would have even been better.
Right. So I mean, so blown tires, on bikes.
Well, so hold on. So everybody's worst fear is. I mean, what's your worst? What's the worst fear that you could ever think of in creation?
Having dinner with Rosie O'Donnell dressed up like a clown
is getting
wow.
That's your worst fear.
Yeah. Where's the bell?
That's oddly specific.
you must sleep like a baby at night.
Oh yeah,
that's your worst fear.
Wow. That was a little insight into what is Bob.
Bob has a fetish.
That was fantastic.
What? No,
Anna Michaels.
Is dinner mushroom pizza?
No, just mushrooms. Dinner's mushrooms.
Wait, looking
country
at
music's playing over the loudspeaker.
Do you have to hold hands walking through
holding
Walmart?
hands? We're sitting in a Michaels. No, we're sitting in a
looking at-
Michaels.
I got
Wait,
friends
looking at
in
feet on a
low
website.
places.
And she doesn't have shoes on. They're just bare feet. Her bare feet is on the table. She's feeding me mushrooms.
She smells like patchouli.
There's like 3 people tap dancing around me.
Mimes? No clowns?
No clowns. and Rachel Maddow's on TV.
Okay, now you're breaking it down.
Yeah,
it's starting to come correct.
That's my.
Yeah, we were kind of confused before.
You were expecting much more high level than that, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, Rosie doesn't live on 8 Mile.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
That's my help.
Well, Rosie Perez might live on.
We tried to find her, trust me.
All right, so you have a blown tire in 8 Mile.
No. So let's zoom back to 8 Mile, not in the front of your brain, but in the back of your brain. Like, what's the worst? Like, the worst thing is getting splattered by a machine gun.
Well, and what time of year was this? Was this winter, fall?
This is the weekend of May 18th last year.
Okay, so it's fairly decent out. Okay,
beautiful out.
It's beautiful out. So I'm we're going past the auto zone, and there's a little bit of gravel on the road, and all of a sudden it's like, bah!
How'd that go?
It was a big pop, and
you thought I'm gonna die.
No, I think I didn't think anything. I thought I already had died.
I literally did The Exorcist and rotated my head backwards because I was convinced Pat was splashed across a building
like a snowy owl.
Nice. Thank God you wore your Depends that day.
Right. You actually had to change your bike seat.
That's right. The Hell Yeah Detroit Bike Tour brought to you by Depends.
Exactly.
I don't think fear was a part of it. It was just laughter. I mean, we stopped at I wouldn't say every saloon, but a few on the way. We talked to people. We made friends. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, but it was just my bike tire blowing out. That was when the fear left when the bike tire blew out because we realized that we were so absurdly
a little over paranoid,
drunk.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
This was at like 9 a.m.
And.
Yeah, nothing about you that I know says that's not the question.
Right.
No, but honestly, I mean, that's one of the cool things about, whether it's that story or the other stories that you guys are running, is you preach the real life message that we keep harping on people about, that, you know what?
Just experience it.
It's okay to go to Detroit. It really is.
You're not going to melt.
The message of the entire 8 Mile story, as Rusty's driving at here, is that it's a great place. It's not just an eddy where the jetsam and flotsam of Detroit ends up and spoils. It's actually, there's good people, there's good places, it's fun, and
it's not just a border.
And people should hang out there, and it's not just a border. And people, we talked to a few people. We said, do you think 8 Mile has a stigma of being really dangerous? And we asked people, and they said, look, it's definitely not the most dangerous place in Detroit because you've got Detroit on one side and a bunch of suburbs on the other side. And 8 Mile is patrolled actually a lot more than other places. So that right there,
as city councilman, realize.
Right. No, and that's the thing. Everybody has a story of something bad that happened to them in Detroit. I've been going down since I've been 16 years old. I haven't even come close to even sniffing something bad happening.
Not at all.
No, seriously. At the end of the day, honest to God, in 2 days, absolutely nothing bad or terrifying happened.
Because you were two white guys on bikes. They were scared of you.
Yeah, they're like
it's like bees.
Who are
they're
these
more,
lunatics?
They're more scared of you than you are of them.
They thought they were Ferndale bike cops.
We have a recurring joke. It's that we'll go to a bar and we worry about the weirdos that we're going to meet in the bar. And at the end of the day,
you were the weirdo?
The monster is you.
We're the weirdo.
Scooby-Doo taught me that humans were the real monsters.
No, absolutely. I mean, it was pretty simple. Everyone thinks like, oh my God, you guys are crazy. You guys biked across 8 Mile. So what? It's just a 20-mile ribbon of asphalt that separates Detroit from the suburbs. But it's a concept that everybody has been inured with their entire life.
Right. It's mental inertia. Absolutely. Well, but like when it comes to stories like that, and so this is why, like when I was talking to Jay earlier. So one of the things that is becoming more and more of an issue lately that I wanted to kind of touch on and get into is how there's a lot of lawsuits pending lately about what is a blogger and what is a journalist.
Yes.
And it's not even so much that and it's not because bloggers are acting like journalists, and that's my key point that I keep hammering home when we were having this conversation, because bloggers, I think, actually do a much better job than journalists these days.
It's vocational responsibility.
Well, but it's not that bloggers act like journalists. The problem is that journalists are starting to act like bloggers, or the stereotypical blogger.
Yeah,
ding, 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 ding. Yeah, it's all about first, and it's all about, like this whole Malaysian, flight that disappeared. How many times in the past 4 weeks now have we heard, hey, my favorite one is, we just spotted 300, objects floating in the ocean. Dumbass, those are waves. They're white caps. It's
Could
not
have been a black hole. That was my favorite. Or something outside of this world. It was crazy stuff that was going on. And to me, I look at it as don't step on my free speech. Free speech is what built this country.
Right.
And I find it very ironic when politicians run around and start talking about free speech and like, well, we need to treat bloggers different than journalists. You know what? First Amendment, deal with it. Just because some people are saying what you don't like, there's going to be another day where you've got a bunch of bloggers that say what you do like.
Well, how irresponsible.
You're a politician. That's your job.
Well, but bloggers are trying to emulate journalists, and journalists are trying to
but bloggers are journalists, and journalists are bloggers. They're one and the same. I mean, how many times have you seen blogs on the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times?
Well, the only difference that I would say
is an editorial page in the past. Now it's a blog.
Right.
But a blog is not always editorial. I can tell you a lot of blogs out there that are not just editorial, that have a lot of great, interesting content.
But it's
about the voice that's telling the story.
It's the differentiation between it's the voice behind it. Is this the corporate blog? Is this a personal blog of someone who's giving out this message?
But you know what? The byline of Associated Press or Reuters has a certain amount of weight to it. So if your blog says AP, it's not really a blog.
Here's the problem
in the mind of the public.
Right.
Public
Jeremiah, here's the problem that stems from all of this. Free speech, great, but there's no recourse for saying something wrong or stupid. Just like predicting the weather, like the weatherman's always wrong. There's no recourse.
I would love to get paid that much to be that wrong.
Well, did I not say that? I thought the difference between a blogger and a journalist is some sort of vocational responsibility.
Right, but CNN talking about the plane.
A journalist,
but why?
That's a fantastic question. I have no clue. I mean, I know as a blogger, I mean, I have to have some sort of credit and say what I mean and back it up with some sort of information. But at the end of the day,
which is what journalists aren't doing these days, and that's the issue.
I'm not going to get fired because.
All right, so
correct.
Wait,
good journalists
Jeremiah,
are still doing that. Good journalists are still backing up with it. I think that
true.
All right, so is a journalist someone that writes online but also has a print publication, and a blogger is someone who doesn't have a print publication?
No, print Schmidt. It's about what you're communicating.
I'm just throwing it out there.
The semantics of what media.
Yeah, the medium isn't the message. Yeah,
I get it. I'm just throwing it out there.
You know what? When you boil it down, when somebody clicks on something you wrote in today's day and age, there's no difference between a blogger and a journalist. It doesn't matter. And journalists are starting to realize that, and bloggers didn't have to pay $40,000 to go to grad school to realize it.
To get their journalism degree.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. I think that's what it comes down to.
But there's people who've won Pulitzers without even a college degree.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about storytelling, truth-telling, and getting and communicating with people, right?
Well, but I mean, is that?
I mean, you guys don't have communications degrees.
Oh God,
and
you're nerds.
Well,
you have 20,000.
I don't even have an IT degree.
Yeah, but you know what? People call us the media. That kind of freaks me out.
Well, but I mean, but
you are. You're
You
pundits.
are the media. That's what we believe in. That's our whole thing. Is that we don't care.
We're three idiots with a podcast. We're not the media.
And we're three idiots with the blog. There you go.
But I mean, so like that's the thing. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's, and I guess that's the change that's really starting to freak people out is there is starting to be more and more distrust of traditional media outlets. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh, that started 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, but I never want to read another story off of CNN about this Malaysian airline. I don't. Because every time you turn around, it's, well, there was this, and then a day later, it's, you're wrong. Well, even the Malaysian government came out and said...
But isn't that about doing your homework, about checking to see if something is a correct story?
Verifying your facts.
No, because
checking a couple of sources before you run with the story?
But that's the problem. It's all about being first.
But
we're not about being first.
A lot of people are, though.
But
we're not.
But mass media is.
Not one of our maxims.
Maxim, hell of a magazine.
But no, but like Dave, you brought up CNN. They must have had 100 different. What happened to the plane?
Let's break that down.
In the past 4 weeks, there has to have been at least 40 to 50 different. This is what happened. No, that's what happened. No, that's what happened. No, this is what happened. We found this. Oh no,
jumping
it's that.
on the pile. Jump on the pile.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, radar. Oh yeah, we just detected 200 images floating in the ocean.
Look,
that's awesome. And then the Oceanographic Institute comes out and goes, "Those are waves."
I used to work in television. I'll tell you, I don't think the 24-hour news cycle is a good thing.
I think it's horrible.
I think there's something.
I think CNN headline news destroyed the media.
Well, not just that, but all
you
the
realize
other things
CNN
with it, where we're going to
no
pile
on,
on,
network, right?
and we're going to
entertainment.
What is in reality infotainment?
Yep.
Yeah,
it's infotainment.
Yeah, they're no longer the WWF; they're the WWE.
Pretty much. they themselves admitted that they're no longer a news network.
Yeah.
Can we quickly get down to this? We just went from riding single-speed beach cruisers down 8 Mile to Malaysian Flight 3507.
Welcome to our show.
Yeah,
that was a vast leap right there.
Yeah, well, but
we
it's
actually kind of warned you about that like 3 hours ago.
Because here's the thing: because what you guys do is storytelling.
If we disappeared,
what we do is storytelling. Correct.
Right, and like to me, I refer people to you because I say, hey, you know what? I trust these guys. If you want the real deal and the real story, this is where you go.
And honestly, I would think that journalism is being redefined as to what you guys are doing as opposed to regurgitating what somebody gives me in a press release.
Absolutely.
Right? So what you guys are doing is...
But Jeff, to add to that, you have journalists today that are quote-unquote journalists that will take press releases that we send, cut and paste it, and slap their name on it.
I see it every day. I see it every day. It's Schleichler. I see it every day.
Well, but you would at least think you'd call us and try to get a sound bite?
Verify something.
It's amazing. Calling is like what you're supposed to do, right?
Well, but to your point, Jeremiah,
interviewing your sources is what you're supposed to do.
Right. And verify your sources. Go figure.
Exactly. Well, get the story behind it, right?
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just showing up to somewhere and just being like, oh, there it was, and then not talking to anybody, and then wandering off or just trolling people. That's no good. It's got to be about communicating the story. And you know what? Not everyone's going to read us because of it, and because we're not first, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
And that's where I was going to go is, I've noticed there are other publications that are out there floating around the city that will run with something the second it hits, and that's not you guys. But what winds up happening is, okay, so they'll run with it, they'll revise it 8 times after they run with it, but at the end of the day, what you guys come out with 3 days later is a far better piece than anything they've revised.
But the thing is that it's about a service to the readers, right? Journalism is a service.
Right.
So here's the deal. If you go out there and say, oh, this is the way it is, well, a lot of people are not going to go back to your revision. Let's just be honest.
Nobody reads a correction on page 12 on the inside cover.
No, so it's about getting it. It's about getting it, the best that you can, telling the best story you can. And sometimes that means we have to do more feature writing. It means that...
but like I brought up, Jeremiah, there's no recourse for putting out something that's completely false, BS, fabricated, wrong.
There is recourse.
What?
That correction on page 12, nobody even no one looks.
But if we
are you talking about perception?
If we put out something that is wrong and bozo, then we lose our credibility.
Look at Fox News, MSNBC, CNN.
But you know what? There isn't that many people who actually watch that stuff anymore. The more and more we've looked at what we've done.
They're preaching to their core audience.
Yeah, they're core audience. The more and more we look at what we've done, this is going to sound strange, but some of the analytics we've done, we figured out.
You always sound strange.
I know, I always do. That's just what that happens for me. But the reality is that the people who read us more and more, and this is going to sound weird, don't read the news. Like, they don't read the free press. They don't read the other things. Because we engage them on a different level, what they're looking to do. The news is part, those things are a different way of communicating to folks. Look, I would say 90% of our audience is under 40.
But I think that a publication like yours are filling a vacuum for people that are starving for credible writing. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't want to be fed a regurgitated press release because that's what the
person writing
exactly.
Which I think is
it's a story.
It's an art.
It's not the copied and pasted press release.
It's not a copy pasted press release.
But I guarantee you there would be people who'd be like, "Oh, those guys are 3 clowns. What the heck are they talking about?"
Yeah, we get that all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because we didn't go through the same systems you did. We didn't do it the same way you did. But we have a perspective that I think is valid.
Tag me in. Can I tag in?
You're good.
Real Detroit Weekly. This was mentioned last show. We were voted best Detroit blog, and they said in the blog, Rusty Young and Patrick McNamara are journalists.
Wow.
In the blurb about our blog,
you've arrived,
and we see no difference, and they see no difference, and we don't care. That's how it is. Right. We're doing it.
Yeah, but at the same token, you can call us. I mean, that's
we're the media now.
Nah, I don't think so.
You can split hairs.
I don't want to be.
Right.
I don't either.
But the general public didn't go to journalism school either.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, like, how many times have we heard the stat that the vast majority of the American public gets their news from Comedy Central? I mean, the Daily Show is where the vast majority of folks get their news from.
That's called the low information voter, by the way.
Welcome to America.
Right,
Hi.
Exactly.
What were you saying, Rusty?
No, I just think that people are genuinely hungry or interested in boots on the ground. I mean,
yes, yeah, absolutely.
That's a very
especially local stories
output or whatever.
Right.
But like Detroit is in people's minds. It's a zeitgeist. People have no idea what's going on in Detroit. People are very curious, whether it's in Detroit, whether it's in Oakland County, whether it's in Berlin. People are interested in what's going on in Detroit and taking a
don't tell me what someone else has said. Tell me what you've said.
Right.
So what I see as a key differentiator is you guys exude passion. And you're homebred. You're here. You're not some guy that went to Chicago, Loyola, got a journalism degree.
You're not some guy that was in
Detroit
North Carolina and suddenly got brought up here to run a blog about something that has no relation to you.
But that's what I'm saying. It shows.
True story.
When you're passionate about something, it could not be ring more true. Are we up on a break already?
We are.
This is the IT in the D show.
We'll be back with so much more.
Oh, absolutely. We'll be right back.
IT in the D. Read, meet, Listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time. This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D Show.
Number 5 is alive.
Just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber.
That was
Go and totally redeem yourself.
That was Ali Sheedy in Short Circuit. Come on.
I've enjoyed repeatedly throwing you to the ground.
That movie sucked, and so does that song.
Short Circuit?
Get
out. Get out.
Just get out.
Never Ending Story
Come on.
sucked.
Get out. Get out.
Don't tell me what to do.
You're outvoted.
Shush.
Shush.
Don't ever shush me again.
Did you just go with Never Ending Story Sucks?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I did. Because he put that song on earlier.
Yes. Moving right
Well,
along.
what was it? There was that whole thing about why the Neverending Story scarred an entire generation of children because the horse died of sadness.
That's right.
Like it wasn't like nothing bad happened. It wasn't like the horse got killed. No, the
It
horse
was
died
sadness.
of sad.
Well, it kind of drowned, but whatever.
I'll
Yeah,
never
in the
forget.
swamps of sadness.
When did that movie come out? I think I was 8 years old. My mom took me to go see it.
You cried,
And I-
didn't you?
No, I came back home and I remember I was like playing in the neighborhood and I'm like, I got made fun of and the crap beat out of me for seeing that movie.
Why?
I got-
There's important life lessons in that movie. Like, you know what? When you run into two girls with big giant boobs, watch your manners or they will kill you. That's an important lesson.
We are not dissertating and breaking down life lessons of Neverending Story on this show. So help me God, I will pull the plug. I will.
That's it. We're done. Episode 36. Thanks for listening.
Let's go to
And we're out.
That's right.
Mashed potato machines. Talk about it all day long.
So the one thing we have not talked about, I want to make sure we at least mention, because, well, we should, is that we do have an event coming up on April 17th, which is only 2 weeks away now.
That's coming up fast.
Yeah.
Did you get your taxes done, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we forgot to do the whole Twitter and IT and the D.
Oh, yeah.
and
Wait, what's the phone number, by the
No,
way?
I've ignored all of that because you mock me every
Good.
time I bring it up. So, yeah.
Me too.
That number again is 976.
It's
I think the only guy-
1-877 not Bean.
I think
That's
the
our
only
phone
guy
number.
that hits us up on Twitter is sitting in the studio. It's Mike.
Yeah, to tell us when our feed isn't working.
Right.
Right.
Tell us now.
Yeah, oh my God, we're screwed. If the stream's not working, who's going to tell us?
He's frantically checking his Windows phone right now.
And that's the thing. It's like, you know how to piss me off, right? It's really easy.
Yeah,
Like, how do you get Jeremiah pissed off? Say, you're not a journalist, Jeremiah. What's the difference between I have never seen you get that fired up over something, man. That was rather impressive.
He's not even wearing a headset.
Who needs a headset?
No, but before. So, seriously.
Real media journalist.
Nice. So, April 17th, Blackfin.
Blackfin, back room. Remodeled.
The newly remodeled Blackfin Ameripub, which you may or may not be able to notice what they remodeled.
Is that like the Murrapub?
They changed their name
Yes.
to
Is
serve
that
you better.
Murpub?
Is that what it is?
Murpub.
Murpub.
They have new
Garage doors.
Yeah, garage doors.
Do we
Yeah.
need to show up in red, white, and blue spandex or something?
I hope
I
not.
double dog dare you. Go ahead.
We have that.
No, you got to dress like Kenny Powers, man. You got to dress like him. They remodeled. They closed for 3 weeks, and I couldn't tell you what they changed.
Yeah.
They put new blinds on the windows.
But
That's
still,
about
home
it.
base. We'll be there on the 17th.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They have a new website.
Well, same website, new look.
Same difference. Kind of like us. Kind of like us.
Right. Same website, new look. So what do we do? We're actually at a different website.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, different. What? Anyways.
So what are we doing?
What do we have on the? You have like a laundry list of things.
None of which we've gotten to, which is just how we usually run these things. So pop culture. So How I Met Your Mother was on the air for 9 years. Last
Never
episode,
watched it.
You never watched How I Met Your Mother?
Dude, I watched a sporadic episode every now and then, and people were like freaking out that tonight was the last episode.
Watch
Sorry,
reruns.
I'm not to be weird, but who was freaking out?
Friends of mine on Facebook.
Nobody in this room was freaking out.
No, because none of us watched it.
But I will admit that every now and again I'll watch a repeat episode
Because it's
and
legend. Wait for it.
Dairy. Exactly.
No,
and I'll laugh my ass off.
Why can't
because
you
they
just
are
watch
funny.
reruns? It'll never go away.
The slap bet.
Oh, the
phenomenal.
slap bet. We should start that, by the way.
We actually have. That's our December event every year. And I always lose.
Rusty, that's why
a good point.
Honestly, I never understood like when people are sad when shows get canceled or when like celebrities die. Because like Chris Farley, for example, like you didn't know him, you knew him from Tommy Boy. So if you ever want to, it's not like he got erased like in Back to the Future from Tommy Boy. He's still there, and that's how you knew him. That's the only way how you knew him anyway.
So pop in Tommy Boy. He's still there.
He never goes. Rodney Dangerfield's still around to me.
What was that
I can
about
still
popping
watch
into Tommy
Caddyshack.
Boy? What was that?
Exactly. No, but I don't. Rodney and Carlin were like my 1 and 1A, man. Those are my comedic idols. When they died, I was like, oh, but Caddyshack still works.
Yep.
And then the show's going off the air. Watch the damn reruns on TV Land when they come out in 2 weeks.
ITV's going off the air. Catch us on iTunes.
I just
still
watched
there.
Animal House. John Belushi is alive and well.
Still alive and well.
Yeah.
Life's good.
They'll be on Channel 20 till the end of time.
That's right.
Oh yes, CW20 and WB50. They're all they will be on the air for.
I mean, how long you want to run these shows until like How I Met Your Grandmother? Like what the hell, I'm just saying.
The day I met my granddaughter.
.com.
Right. .co.
Do you know what I hate about that show? Is that everybody's like, "Hey, you look like the guy from How I Met Your Mother," and I'm just like,
which one? Jason Segel.
I had not seen it until you just mentioned it.
Oh, right, Doogie Howser.
I've never seen the show, so I don't even know what guy it is.
I can actually buy that.
There's certain people
Now
in
that you just
Hollywood
said that, I
that
can
you just
buy it.
realize you just look at him and go, that guy's
he's out.
No, there's certain people you look at in Hollywood and go, that guy in real life is such an asshole. And like Jason Segel to me is one of those guys. Like,
really?
You would meet him and he would be the biggest. Like it's not like I'd even say hi to him anyway. But he just looks like he's like yelling at people for putting brown M&Ms in the bowl.
Well, way to go there, Captain Prejudice. What did he ever do to you?
How's your event?
He's got that look. They just looks like he just like would yell at the help
for not having enough green M&Ms in his M&M bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The green beans are too cold.
Best thing that guy ever did was the interview with Paul Rudd and that like puffy British dude.
Out of their minds.
Puffy British dude.
What? Are we still talking?
Benny Hill?
Yeah, just
puffy.
look up
Benny Hill.
Look up Jason Segel and Paul Rudd get interviewed by a
puffy British dude.
Can Paul Rudd and Reese Witherspoon movies please go away?
Like preposterous.
Wait, like Piers Morgan? Like
No.
Have you seen that meme
some
of
movie
Reese
reviewer,
Reese without her spoon?
Okay.
Paul Rudd and that dude Jason Segel get out of their minds on whatever, some sort of substance.
Okay.
And they literally don't care. They're giggling in this dude's face, and he's trying to ask him question after question after
Kind of like this show.
So it's every one of our shows.
Kind of like PBR. They're probably just drinking PBR and eating Slim Jims.
I'm going to go with not PBR, but probably something.
Some sort of mild hallucinogenic is what we're going to go with, right?
So what else?
Speaking of mild hallucinogenics, so Darth Vader is running for president of the Ukraine, which I think is outstanding.
People are dying. What would you have him do?
Like, dude in a Vader outfit with stormtroopers.
He can get stormtroopers. We can't.
And an apprentice Sith off to the side, if you notice the press photo.
I did not notice that.
Holds a press conference. He's actually running the alternate party for president of the Ukraine.
See, now I've seen like in Mexico, there's like governors.
The lucha guy.
Yeah. He wears a luchador mask at the office, which I think is awesome.
By the way, you know the rule. F you that I know what a lucha is.
You should. What do you mean F you? You should always know what a lucha libre mask is.
Yeah, no,
Nacho Libre. You've seen that.
No, every time something wrestling happens that I actually understand what they're talking about, it's an F you, Bob. That's how that works.
Yeah,
so
you got to ride a lucha libre mask.
So if Darth Vader wins, is he going to like be in the office like dressed up?
God, I hope so.
Yeah, the only way that's going to be super.
I want him to stand in front of whatever their Congress is and say, "I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it."
But the only way that's going to sound cool is if he actually pays off James Earl Jones actually do the voice, because otherwise it's going to sound like I'm altering the deal.
Just carry around sound clips. Everybody has a soundboard. Just carry around the sound clips and be done with it.
I guess that's true. If you have the wherewithal to actually buy a Darth Vader outfit,
but how classic on the internet would it be to have Darth Vader meet with Putin?
They're one and the same, are they not?
But yeah, isn't it like Emperor Palpatine meeting with Darth Vader?
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, you again.
Now, young Skywalker,
you are my
must
father.
die.
Right.
And
there's got to be something better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so we've got the
Slow news day.
Yeah.
Pretty much it is.
Well,
Where's
so
the beer?
I got a good joke about the Ukraine.
No pressure. Go ahead. Go.
I saw a bird with a long neck, and I was like, "Hey, Ukraine. Why don't you cry me a river?
Oh boy!
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be a drop.
If ever there was a time for the Crickets app.
Damn it!
Last week
that hurt. That hurt.
That
painful.
My ears are actually bleeding.
Last week we had the Go Comedy Improv guys. They're rolling over in their whatever they are right now.
They're like, where in the hell did we? Yeah.
If they want to call me, hey, I got lots of those in the coffers. Let me know.
Well, did he just slur his words?
I'm fairly certain they won't be calling.
Okay, what else we got?
I'm just saying. So we've got.
What nationality are you? You have to go to the bathroom. Finnish. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. When you're running to the bathroom, you're Russian. When you're in the bathroom, European.
Right.
Yeah, when you're done, yeah.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's about right
Just
there.
stop. Stop. We're all 11. It's 1987.
Right.
I wish.
Right. So the one that I thought was kind of interesting was there was the whole blowback coming back against Dropbox, and so we use Dropbox here for all of our files going back and forth, where it came out that Dropbox is actually scanning your files.
They don't actually delete anything either.
Well, that was Snapchat.
No, Dropbox does not delete anything.
Snapchat was the fun one where everybody was like, "Oh, I send a booby picture and then they're gone." Yeah, no, they're not. It's always on that person's phone.
It's on an NSA in the third aisle.
Well, it's always on that person's phone. They just add the .no media extension to it and assume that good Google apps will pay attention to it. But
that's the no cache and the HD access.
Right,
file.
But if you go into File Explorer, guess what? They're still there.
Yep.
But so Dropbox is now scanning your files for DMCA copyright violations and will block your content on you. And people were freaking out because they're like, well, I just used that as an extension of my hard drive. Well, but okay, it's not your hard drive.
You're using a third-party service that's regulated by the government.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Welcome to the fun and excitement. Because we swap files back and forth via Dropbox. We do it with the wrestling guys all the.
It goes back to the age-old question: what is the cloud? What is? What?
The nebulous cloud.
What did I do? Is this thing still on?
No.
Bob just broke the show.
I think this goes back to what is Bitcoin?
Right. What is the Google Tube?
I mean, if we have gone full circle on anything, what on earth is Bitcoin?
Oh my god.
I got crickets. I don't know. No one knows.
I got nothing. Yeah. So no, they're scanning your files. That's the moral of the story. So be careful what the hell you put out on Dropbox. Just like be careful what the hell you put out on anything that's not on your goddamn computer. That's the point we try to hammer home to people all the time. The other one that was fun was twitspotting.com.
What'd you call me?
Twit spotting.
I got a problem with that, by the way.
Which was guys driving around highways and taking pictures of distracted drivers, people on their phone.
But aren't they distracted taking a picture?
Well, if you read,
it's kind of like the meta.
If
thing,
you went and looked at the website,
taking pictures,
you would know.
Taking pictures of their food.
Exactly. Yeah, they actually had the disclaimer. They were taking all the pictures from the passenger seat.
I'm sure they are.
Again, journalistic integrity. You got to take them at their word.
Don't hand me like you're like.
Hell yeah, Detroit! Twit spotting.
Yeah, that's.
But so then they're taking these photos and popping them up on blowing them up and putting them up on billboards.
Yeah, shaming people into. Yeah.
Well, and their whole thing was, well, we're not really trying to shame individual drivers.
Whatever.
We're just trying to bring awareness.
Give me a break.
Which is one of our favorite topics. We're just trying to bring awareness.
If I'm driving by and I saw a billboard of me texting in my drive, I would take a picture of me, of that photo driving down the freeway.
While driving,
while
what
driving.
about the guy stuffing his face with a cheeseburger, the chick putting on makeup?
That's one of the pictures. That's one of the photos.
It's not going to be fun until I see.
Yeah, the Revlon dashboard. That's
right.
I'll never forget, I was on the German Autobahn. I was doing about 180, 200 miles an hour. I had an orange pop in my crotch.
696.
I was eating a sandwich. And
listening to techno music.
Listening to bad techno music.
This is also Bob's drive every night on the lodge, by the way, when he comes here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I must have had like 4 things going on, and I'm going like 180 miles an hour. Exactly. That's what it was, too. That's all it was. I could. Someone turn the fan on.
Bob listening to Das Techno on the Autobahn.
Yeah.
IT is
Did you see that one thing with the?
Can you do that for like 20 minutes? That'd be like our intro for like the first half hour. That'd be awesome.
This is Bob at IT in the D. We listen to Das Techno.
Das ist DJ Rusty.
What are you thinking about?
Welcome to the fourth
I'm telling you how to digitally program my lederhosen.
Honestly, how every cop in Detroit just doesn't like park out on Russell Street. It's beyond me.
Right.
So the other one of our favorite topics, drones. So Facebook has announced that they're launching basically a series of drones into third world countries equipped with lasers to extend their internet reach. Freaking lasers. Yeah, it's drones with lasers attached to them.
Nothing good can come in this, by the way.
Yeah.
For what?
To extend the internet reach, because there are places without internet, and Facebook.
All right, so
They don't have
Bob is
laptops.
confused. He wants Das lasers for Das Internet.
So wait,
Which brings you back to your I sent 20 Chrome laptops to starving children in Ethiopia, and
how are they gonna get
had
to
no
it?
internet. Facebook is bringing them internet access.
But if you're in a depressed area and you have no way of receiving the frickin' laser beam, how are you going to get internet? I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense.
It's no different than and we'll actually have him in next week talking about the whole microwave bursts, how he shoots the gig Ethernet down into routers. I mean, that's the whole point.
And you get micro fries.
Right.
Make super pretzels.
There's so many drops in this episode.
Oh God! Well, and actually, speaking of Ethiopia, so Russ is now on en route back to Ethiopia. He's probably somewhere between England and France at this point. So dude, for the love of God, be safe.
Yeah, be safe. Get back here soon.
Well, and you guys don't know this. This actually came up while he was here. They extended him for another year.
What?
Yeah. So he's going to be over there not till September. He's going to be over there till a year from September.
That sucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does he not get a say in that at all?
No, not really, because apparently the guy that was going to relieve him had a car.
Can he retire?
Genuinely, I don't know how much. I don't know how much of this I'm supposed to talk about.
He's a reservist.
Something happened with the guy that was going to replace him over there, and he's no longer available. And so what I found interesting in having this conversation with him is that they try to work with you and they give you 6 months notice. At a minimum, they try to give you 3 months notice, but by law, required, they only have to give you 48 hours notice. That, oh, by the way, you're going to be in Ethiopia for a year.
Yeah, looks like you picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Jeez.
You thought you hated it in Ethiopia. Wait till we send you to Chad.
Because I think we need to start having this conversation. It's like we have the infinite war going on. We need to decide if we really want to do this.
This isn't even a war. He's over there just
he's
supporting
there for,
other things.
Monitoring pirates.
He's not even.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that there's all these things that we do, and everyone said, oh, the last president was going to change that, and the president before was going to change that. But the reality is that we don't have a national discussion about our deployments and where people are at or how much we're spending on these things. And I'm not saying what the right answer is.
What I think is funny is he's in the Navy, deployed to a nation that's landlocked.
That is very. I realized that when I listened to the show last time.
It's like, how the hell?
I need the flow chart that somebody went through.
Explain to me how you get an even.
Yeah, and he's attached to an embassy, but the homing donkeys are phenomenal.
They were hilarious. I had to Google that right away. I was like, I need a homing donkey.
You were stunned by the homing donkeys. All right, so we are actually, believe it or not, coming up against the end of the show, so I want to make sure we touch base. Mike, URL, LinkedIn profile, anything you want to get out there?
Where can we send you bitcoins?
Or do you want to just, deny this conversation ever happened?
I'm actually surprised you're still here.
Because we totally understand.
Well, I'm on Twitter as at Corn1699. On LinkedIn, Mike Dennis. Yeah.
Okay.
That's most of it.
Because we'll put links to it.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll have people spam the hell out of you.
That's right.
And of course, Jeremiah, Rusty, Patrick, hellyeahdetroit.com, facebook.com/hellyeahdetroit. Guys, seriously, thanks for coming out again. It's always a blast to have you guys in, and we definitely want to do more. I mean, that's literally, you guys are you guys are the respectable blog version of us.
They're the yin to our yang.
We love you. Kisses.
Hugs and kisses on all your pink parts.
It's been a pleasure.
Wait, what? Talk about a drop. Hi.
What did he say? This is the IT and the D show. We'll see you next week.
Name that movie.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah, so now I'm just like doing like stupid stuff to make me laugh.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
I definitely want to see Bob in his underwear. That's a fact.
Joe, own the truth. Owns.
Or wait, what do you have in Switzerland? Some kind of pikemen?
I don't know. I am from Germany, where the age of consent is 14.
What is it, the Alabama of Europe?
In many ways, yes.
Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up.
I don't care.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
That's all, folks.
A singer